Hi everyone, it's Tamsin from tamsinyoung.com, and today we're going to be talking about unfinished symphonies. What is an unfinished symphony, you might ask? Well, I got the term from my mum, and when we used to do sewing and we'd start these projects and they'd never get finished for one reason or another. It wasn't something that we wanted anymore, it didn't work out, we had a problem with it, and it would sit there in the cupboard waiting to be finished. Now, we all have these unfinished symphonies in our life, whether it is an actual project or whether it is an energetic drain on us or just clutter around us in any manner or form. And we really need to deal with all this stuff around us so that we can clear our lives, we can open up space, we can by getting rid of all that junk and gunk from our lives, all that stuff that's bearing down on us and just putting the weight of the world on top of us, we can move from there and we can move into a lighter, freer space in life. We can let go of things that we no longer need. How many of those projects did we work on that sat there staring back at us every time we opened up the cupboard, that we knew we no longer loved it, we didn't want it, wasn't the right material, wasn't the right colour, we didn't like the style, it didn't fit, whatever the reason was, we weren't going to use that item anymore. So we could have either finished the item and given it to somebody else, or just given it to somebody else who may have enjoyed it and who would have been happy to complete the project themselves. So stop hanging on to things that aren't benefiting you, that aren't getting you anywhere. We have this compulsion that we have to finish everything we start, and while there is certainly merit in that and sticking with things, there's some things that it isn't worthwhile sticking with it. It's time to go, no, this isn't me, I don't want to do this, I made a mistake. Let it go, drop it, move on. And even if you have invested some money in it, it's okay. Look at it and go, is it going to serve you in your life or not? And if it's not, move on. And don't commit yourself to something that you're doing out of obligation. You're not living in alignment with your soul, and that is just going to clutter up your life. So the areas that you need to look at, there's obviously the physical areas of projects that you might have, and whether they be from your hobbies, whether it be in sewing or garden work or anything else that you might be interested in. What are the projects there that you can either get rid of or hand on or just throw out? There's digital clutter. In this day and age, in the 21st century, is probably one of our biggest drains on our energy. How much stuff do you have on your phone? How much stuff do you have on your computer? How many courses do you have that you've downloaded and are gathering virtual dust that you're never going to look at again? It seemed like a good idea at the time, but you ain't going to do it. Or you've had it for so long that what you're going to learn is outdated anyway. It's time to move on. Emotional clutter. Wow. What are you hanging on to? What do you need to let go of from an energetic and emotional point of view? We hang on to so many things, grudges, hurt, shame. Let it go. Forgive, forget, and let it go. It's not worth it. Debts. Who do you owe money to? What have you got hanging over you? What are you trying to forget about and hoping that it will go away? Acknowledge it. Acknowledge where you are and who you owe, and pay it off. You know how much lighter you'll feel. That feeling of avoiding your phone call, avoiding meeting somebody because you know that you owe them money, or feeling guilty when you do see them and going, I hope they don't ask me for that money. Make a plan. It doesn't matter how small it is, how small a contribution you make. Something is better than nothing. And by taking that step and moving forward, you'll be amazed at the changes that will happen and how the universe will support you in clearing your backlog of debt. So once you've identified all these things that are holding you back, what are you going to do about it? So I've created a guide for you, and which is free for you to download, and I'd suggest you work through it, making a list of the things that you need to do, and then taking action on it. And the difference that you will find in your life, the brain space that you will open up, that you no longer have to keep transferring these items on your to-do list of I've got to do that, I've got to do that, I've got to do that, and just opening up your life to that abundance and magic, so that you can actually be living your life as you should be. And I find that it's all very well doing this as a once-off exercise, but it's actually something that you need to keep on top of on a regular basis. And just as one example, in our house, I don't know about you, but we can accumulate clutter at an alarming rate. Stuff seems to come in faster than it goes out, and I make the conscious effort to allocate a room once a month that gets a really deep clean, that we go in there, we get rid of everything, we move everything out of that room, we clean down that room, and then we put back what we still need and what we still want, and the rest we get rid of. And that just means that at least once a year each room is being looked at and sorted out. And there's different ways you can do it. You don't have to adopt my approach to it. If you look at Marie Kondo, her approach is to look at the different areas. So one time you'll look at your clothing, and you look at every single piece of clothing in your house. Then you look at your books, you sort out all your books, and that works for her. So find out what works for you and do it. Don't avoid it, because the truth is it doesn't go away. And the longer you avoid it, the deeper you get bogged down by it, and it just keeps accumulating and bringing you down. And that's not what we want. We want you to live a life of lightness. So open up that space to enable you to live that kind of life. So don't forget, share with us how you deal with any unfinished symphonies in your life, and please download my guide that I've created for you to help you through creating this lightness in your life, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.